Richard had a key, he'd just come over because he's a morning person.
You know, we never came to blows, but yeah, sometimes it got heated.
Great guys, they hold no hard feelings to me. They're, you know. They wanted to meet me to vet me.
It screwed up our inventory so bad. It was the worst thing ever.
Because when we went in there, overkill.
So we originally decided to go to Piccadilly because we wanted to make some extra money. We were just really struggling to make sales online, and we wanted to try out a small local market and see if they would purchase toys.
Which was super mistake. We can get into that later. But when you talk about like naiveness, it's like you don't go to the flea market and bring all your like high-end collectibles. Like that's not the place for that.
The Piccadilly was fun. There was a lot of strange people. It's definitely a discount marketplace. It was not really the environment for Radar toys, but we did sell some toys, which was nice. And then we made a lot of like contacts with people.
And at the end of the day, when you're like, dude, we made 12 bucks, but the dude next to us selling broken trinkets made $4.50. You're like, well, what happened here? You have to ask Richard, but it was probably my idea. It sounds like one of my ideas. They usually go terribly wrong in some way, but not all, because we met Comics Chris.
I first met Richard and John while I was at the Piccadilly Flea Market here in Eugene. And I was with my daughter at the time, and I was looking for comic books because there were several vendors there that did that, and just kind of looking for some gems and things I could get fairly inexpensively for my collection that I probably shouldn't have spent as much money on as I did. And I'd walked by these young guys that were selling some toys, and one of them was like, hey, what do you got there? What do you got in your hands? And I showed him, I think, some comic books. I can't tell you exactly which ones they were now, but
I had been buying up comic books for a while, like only because we thought to ourselves, okay, maybe if the stars align and years go by, we'll have a store.
And John was like, hey, you know, I've got some more back in my house if you want to come take a look. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this could be like the golden stash of comic books, because John seemingly didn't know like anything about comic books really, just that he had some. So I was like, oh yeah, I can come take a look.
So yeah, Chris came over. I was like, dude, come through and look at some stuff and buy some stuff. And he did, and we made friends. And then he's been rocking with us ever since. I mean, I don't know if I'd call him like the oldest Radar like family, but certainly up there.
My name is Royce Meyers, and I am the founder of the Eugene Comic-Con.
We had never heard of Royce. We don't know who's running this Comic-Con, and there's a lot of expenses. I've got to buy a booth. It's going to cost us almost a couple grand, plus the labor, everything involved. And so I'm like, listen, we need to meet this guy.
And so we called him up and said, hey, we really want to meet you, see how legit this is going to be. This is going to be Eugene's first Comic-Con, and we want to know how serious we should be about going to this Comic-Con.
He was like, yeah, just go ahead and sign up through the portal and you'll get a space. And I was like, I think you misunderstood us. Like, we want to meet you. And he was like, what? And, yeah, we want to meet you. So we vetted Royce.
They wanted to meet me to vet me. And I thought, what? I thought, okay, I got to meet these guys. So we got together and we had lunch.
And I think we took him to Red Robin.
For whatever reason, John thinks I like Red Robin. I have no idea why. Like, I like Red Robin, but to the extent that he thinks I like Red Robin, it's funny.
And we hit it off right away. They told me the story about, oh, you know, we have this online store. We used to work for Toys R Us, and we got sick of it, so we started our own company, and we're working for ourselves. And
we'd never done any shows before, any trade shows. We haven't set up at anything. And my attitude towards these things, and John's attitude, is we're going to do it right if we're going to do it. So we're going to make it look good. We're going to spend some money and really roll out and hopefully be impressive.
I'm basically just scared. Like, I want to show up branded, put a big booth up. Richard's like, no, dude, this is our city. Like, we live here. And I'm like, well, we're online. We don't have a store. What does it matter? And he's like, it matters. Like, this is our city. This is where we live. He's like, don't you want to go plant the flag?
We were like, okay, we'll spend some money. Our expectations were pretty low, honestly. You know, if a few thousand people showed up, that's great. We're gonna be very happy with that.
And that first year was awesome. That's one I'll never forget. Like, because true to like my nature that I guess people are probably referring to, like we built the booth here in the warehouse.
If you came into this warehouse here, there really wasn't a whole lot here. But they actually took a space out here and set it up like it was their booth. And they were experimenting on, okay, well, what if we put this here? What if we do here? Well, how are we gonna do this? And they like perfected their booth like a few months before the show.
And so it was kind of this fun thing to do for it being our first time in front of the public. That's a very important thing to us. You know, our brand is very important to us. And so we didn't want to go and set up just basic folding tables and put our toys on the table. We really wanted to impress people and show them what toy selling could be all about.
UConn was really great because they didn't have any experience with customers in real life prior to that point. So they were just really excited to see people light up whenever they saw their favorite characters from TV shows. And they even got a chance to feature some of the toys that they had that were representative of the people who were at UConn. So the famous actors and actresses
And we pre-merchandised it so we could get everything just right. And was like, man, we had drop flags for the ceiling. We had just everything that you think you would have, which you should have as a toy company. Yeah, maybe if you're in San Diego or Seattle, I don't know. Because when we went in there, overkill. Well, I looked around and was like, wait a minute. These are like the normal booths that people put up. And we're putting up this like massive, super, you know, merchandise to the hilt. So everything looked perfect booth.
I mean, they really knew how to draw people's attention to their booth. And I think they were the only people there that had a big banner hanging down from the ceiling. You could see it all the way across this 40,000 square foot, showroom floor. And so I went, oh boy, yeah, those guys are gonna be very successful.
It was absolutely massive. Just setting up for it was like, I feel like a week-long ordeal just to get the brackets all done and all the hardware and stuff mounted just to display the toys before the toys even got in there. So it definitely took a lot more than I expected. But watching the end result and watching the fans just from Eugene alone, I can't even imagine on a bigger scale, but it was incredible. There's definitely some faithful toy collectors out there for sure.
And we had no clue about what the traffic was gonna be like, how many people were gonna be there, what the sales were gonna be like. And I think that first UConn exceeded John and Richard's expectations and kind of got them hooked on, maybe we can do this brick and mortar thing.
For the show, we definitely had to order quite a bit of stuff we didn't have to fill some gaps. With our online inventory, we had quite a bit of cool stuff. It wasn't really filled out categories. You know, we carried the top, Doctor Who items. And so 5 Doctor Who items is great on a shelf, but it's nicer to see like 20. Same thing goes for like Marvel and DC items.
The pain that was bringing all that stuff back and trying to figure out what we had sold and what we hadn't, and it screwed up our inventory so bad. It was the worst thing ever.
It turns out it was, I'm not sure with Royce how many people it was, but it was above 10,000 people showed up. And so it was packed in there.
And it was crazy. It was a lot of hustle bustle ahead of time. And then once we hit the sales floor, I don't think there was a gap in talking to people. It was just constantly talking to people about the things that we all love, which are nerdy things, and it was a blast. It was a blast.
Because usually when we commit to something, we go hard. Like, we're gonna spend the money, get the boot, we're gonna do it all. And that first year was awesome.
Going to Comic-Con and people seeing our brand for the first time in the local area was fantastic. Like, people were just so excited. We spent a lot of money with the setup, and so we ended up getting, I believe, the money back for what we spent on the setup, which was really a a high goal we had set.
The thing about John and Richard is they're polar opposites. If you saw those two guys walking down the street together, you'd be like, this is an odd couple. And that's what I really thought. This is an odd partnership here. But you can see that one balances out the other and vice versa. And I just remember meeting them the first time and just kind of going, this is odd, but there's really something there. You can tell when people are going to make it and they're going to be successful. And I could definitely tell that those two guys were going to pull it off.
I do get the same thing every time at Red Robin.
But we have problems. We did not have enough money or product. I'm playing checkers, he's playing chess, I'm 2 steps behind.
I'm going to work for these guys. This is like, okay, this is happening.